Vladimir Putin, Part 5. As we continue our analysis of the Russian leader, as we look at his behaviors, his conduct, his actions, drawn from a variety of sources to seek balance, we turn to the issue of his interpersonal relationships, primarily those of a romantic nature. In his personal life, there have been accusations of suspect behavior. In the 1980s, during his time as a KGB agent in East Germany, German intelligence reports described him as a philanderer and a wife-beater. If that information is correct, then of course, being a philanderer is the commission of infidelity. It demonstrates a lack of emotional empathy, a sense of entitlement. The suggestion that he's done it on many occasions supports the conducting of affairs and the having of many intimate relationships. If the information is correct that he is a wife-beater, then that is the manipulation of physical violence, demonstrating an absence of emotional empathy, poor boundary recognition, and a sense of entitlement. When Putin and his wife announced their divorce, it was only after years of reports of dalliances with younger women, including former gymnast Alina Kabiva, which we will come to shortly, and his personal photographer, Yana Lapikova. Multiple intimate partner sources, sense of entitlement, triangulation with person. These stories have been around for years, and Putin himself does little to deny them. Arrogance, dismissiveness. The Russian president's upbringing in Leningrad, a city nearly starved out of existence by a Nazi blockade during World War II, was notoriously tough, and Putin himself has, of course, played up the thuggishness of his attitude at the time. Is him playing up that thuggishness in terms of doing little to dismiss this attitude of him being unpleasant and a philanderer? Is this simply him not being aware of how it looks and engaging in obvious behaviours commensurate with the lesser? Or is it simply a high-handed arrogance whereby, again, as mentioned earlier, he engages in brazen behaviour knowing full well the impact of it, but he simply does not care because he regards himself as untouchable? In his official biography for the 2012 election, it remarked that he was a bully, not a pioneer during that time. He was never part of the Moscow elite and spent much of his career in the KGB as an outsider. Many observers believe that this tough background helped him craft somebody who, depending on your perspective, was either endearingly tenacious or worryingly ruthless. The ruthlessness according with a lack of emotional empathy, a sense of entitlement, an absence of remorse, a lack of accountability. Whichever way you do look at it, it does go a long way to explaining why he's been at the top of Russian politics for 13 years, with virtually no challenges to his throne. Getting into that position and maintaining that position needs a particular streak of ruthlessness, determination, maintaining the eyes on what he wants to achieve whilst ensuring that potential threats to control are nullified at the earliest opportunity. But what of this thuggishness, and how has this also fed into his personal relationships? In 1983, partway through his KGB career, Putin married former air hostess Lyudmila Putina. The couple lived together in East Germany from 1985 until 1990 and had at least 2 daughters, who Putin is said to have doted on but has never publicly acknowledged. Is that because he wishes to maintain privacy for him and his family, or is this simply an arrogant, high-handed treatment of those children, which is demonstrative of his underlying attitude towards them and a lack of emotional empathy? The first, geneticist Dr. Maria Farson, is now 36 and is reportedly one of Russia's leading experts on dwarfism. Her younger sister, Dr. Katerina Tikhonovova, 35, reportedly works in Russian artificial intelligence. But Putin's 16 or 17-hour working days, demonstration of industry, absence of emotional empathy, those affected by him being so preoccupied with his work, are said to have taken a toll on family life. After the couple divorced in 2014, Lyudmila reportedly said, "Our marriage is over due to the fact that we barely see each other." Vladimir is completely submerged in his work. Sense of entitlement, lack of accountability towards the marriage, lack of emotional empathy for his wife and children, dismissiveness. Lyudmila, in a rare 2005 interview to Russian newspapers, painted a picture of a taciturn and authoritarian master of the house. She said he could only be asked questions, never about work, forbidden topic, assertion of control, when he came home late at night and drank a glass of kefir before bed. And Lyudmila said she gave up cooking because her husband never praised her food, lack of accountability, lack of compliments, lack of giving credit. "He has put me to the test throughout our life together. I constantly feel that he is watching me and checking that I make the right decisions," she said. The couple announced the divorce in 2013. The constant checking and watching is an assertion of control. It shows an lack of emotional empathy for how it impacts upon his wife. It shows lack of boundary recognition also. Although in 2014 it might have been the year the Kremlin confirmed the divorce, there had been speculation that the marriage was over long before that. The first, denied, report was in 2008, when a Russian newspaper reported that they had divorced and that Putin was engaged to marry Olympic gymnast and Russian politician Alina Kabieva, 38, once referred to as Russia's most flexible woman. The story was denied, issue of denial, assertion of control, nullifying threat to control. The newspaper shut down, punishment, and Putin and Lyudmila continued to make public appearances. This didn't put an end to the speculation. Though denied, reports have alleged that Kabieva gave birth to Putin's son in 2008, a daughter in 2012, another daughter in 2015, and twin sons in 2019. She is still widely described as his secret girlfriend, with recent reports suggesting she and her children have travelled to a private and secure Swiss chalet since the invasion of Ukraine. If it is correct that she is this secret girlfriend, that shows a lack of emotional empathy in not acknowledging her publicly, and the denial of the children is a similar lack of emotional empathy, sense of entitlement, and lack of accountability towards them. It's reported that more than 56,000 people have now signed a petition to have Kabieva deported from Switzerland, of which she and her children are claimed to now be residents, calling her the wife of a delusional dictator. Putin has never confirmed how many children he has. Lack of accountability, sense of entitlement, lack of emotional empathy. "I have a private life in which I do not permit interference," he has said. Now, of course, that is fair enough to state that he has a private life, but at least acknowledging that he has children is not something that gives away that private life. And therefore, to not even acknowledge their existence suggests an absence of emotional empathy and, of course, an iron grip on the need for control. According to historians, he could have up to 5 children with Kabieva alone, which could take the total to 7. There is also an alleged 8th child, Luisa Rozova, 18, by Russian multimillionaire banker Svetlana Krivonovich, but neither Rozova or Krivonovich have ever commented on the claims. Let us examine more about the relationship with Kabieva. She's beautiful, talented, and with an Olympic gold medal to her name. Therefore, a character trait acquisition. And she was once regarded as the most eligible woman in Moscow. Today, though, she's a rather less desirable title, as Russia's Eva Braun. Age 38, she's the former gymnast turned politician who is widely believed to be the girlfriend or possibly the wife of Vladimir Putin. She's even rumoured to have given birth to 4 children by the Russian president, though reports of any relationship between the two have always been denied by the Kremlin. Denial, assertion of control. It's time you reunite Eva Braun with her Führer, says a Change.org petition to the Swiss government signed by almost 64,000 people at the time of this particular article that I quote from, comparing her to the woman who married Adolf Hitler in his Berlin bunker the day before they both took their lives. Opponents of Putin believe Kabieva is hiding near Lugano, a quiet lakeside city known for its celebrated chocolate museum, though there is no proof she is even in Switzerland. Other reports place her in an underground bunker in Siberia's Altai Mountains. Needless to say, facts about Putin's private life are hard to pin down. One thing we know, of course, is that he's divorced from Lyudmila Shrekbaneva, which was confirmed in 2014, 6 years after Kubiva was first romantically linked with Putin. If the romantic links are accurate, this demonstrates infidelity, an absence of emotional empathy for both of them, a sense of entitlement. Although, as Putin has mentioned, he has a private life in which he doesn't permit interference, he said it must be respected, sense of entitlement, haughtiness. He also criticised those who, with their snotty noses and erotic fantasies, prowl into other people's lives. Insult, assertion of control. This, though, has done little to quell the rumours, according to which Kubiva continues to be Russia's secret First Lady, paid a £7.7 million salary for her job controlling a pro-Kremlin media group. Residual benefits. Individual as an extension of self, utilised to assert control by proxy. Dr. Elizabeth Shimthosel, a senior lecturer at Aston University and author of Rich Russians, From Oligarchs to Bourgeoisie, says she has heard rumours that Vladimir Putin and Alina live together in the Kremlin. There are plenty of clues that point to a long-term relationship between the two and to the origins of Putin's interest in her, dating back to at least 2008 and possibly much earlier. Born in Tashkent, Uzbekistan in 1983, Kubiva's father was a professional footballer and her mother played basketball for the national side, but she is said to have left her roots firmly in the past once success came her way. Dr. Shimthusel says it was through sport rather than politics that Kubiva met Putin. Vina, who married the oligarch Elisha Usmanov, introduced them, she says. In 2001, Putin was pictured beside Kubiva as he awarded her an Order of Friendship, a state decoration at the Kremlin. She had originally had a relationship with a Georgian policeman, but that ended in 2005 amid complaints of tabloid intrusion into her life. She's on record as saying subsequently she had met a man who I love very much. Sometimes you feel so happy that you even feel scared. Described as Russia's most flexible woman, she retired from gymnastics after 2004 but made a brief comeback in 2007, by which time her sights were firmly set on politics. It was in that year that Kubiva was elected to the State Duma, representing the pro-Putin United Russia Party. Assertion of control through proxy, lieutenant. The source next saw her in 2008, by which point Kubiva's life appeared to have changed dramatically. The source was attending an awards ceremony in Russia, where Putin himself was present. We had a massive formal dinner, and afterwards I looked over and saw this girl in a white Grecian dress and realised, oh my God, it's Alina, she says. She was shocked by how much weight Kubiva had gained, but a fellow guest told her, well, she is pregnant. He also told her that Kubiva was in a relationship with Putin. The source witnessed no physical interaction between the gymnast and Putin that evening, but she noticed the attention Kubiva was attracting from others. There was a circle of people staring at her as she twirled around. In November last year, The Insider, a Russian investigative journalism website, reported she was paid an annual salary of 785 million rubles, £7.7 million, basing the figure on leaked tax records for 2018. She is reported to have been seen wearing a wedding ring, and there have been claims she and Putin married in the Iversky Monastery in the Valdai Hills between Moscow and St. Petersburg, the Valdai Dacha being mentioned in an earlier part. Rumour has it that she gave birth to a son by Putin named Dima after one of the president's close friends, followed by a daughter and then twins, all of whom are said to have Swiss passports. In 2015, Switzerland's big tabloid reported Putin had flown to Switzerland to be with Kubiva as she went into labour at the private clinic Sant'Anna near Lugano. Although Putin's spokesman insisted that information about the birth of the baby fathered by Vladimir Putin does not correspond to reality, the twins are said to have been born in 2018, after which Kubiva disappeared from public view for almost 3 years. She resurfaced last year, appearing on a state television channel to criticise Tokyo judges who deprived Russian star Dina Averina of gold in rhythmic gymnastics. In December, as tension between Russia and Ukraine ramped up, it was reported she was seen dancing at a party in Moscow's Vokshgod restaurant, not far from the Kremlin, resplendent in a glittering gold dress. The party followed an experimental rhythmic gymnastics international tournament called Divine Grace, which she herself had organised. In keeping with the status that she would command as Putin's wife, she reportedly has a fleet of limousines at her disposal and has made visits to a Moscow cafe surrounded by security guards armed with machine guns. If she has indeed decamped to Switzerland recently, it is unclear how long she might remain. Whilst, of course, Putin denies the existence of a marriage and even a relationship with her, which suggests a need to assert control, a sense of entitlement, a lack of accountability, the rumour mill and the trappings of her status and wealth accord with somebody who is in the patronage of the Russian president. 2 interpersonal relationships are mentioned. We see that with regard to his wife, Lyudmila, the suggestion that she was repeatedly cheated on, that she was not supported in any emotional way, which demonstrates a lack of accountability and a sense of entitlement, an absence of emotional empathy, various manipulative behaviours used against her in terms of the taciturn or authoritarian manners by which she behaved, the absence of emotional support, showing a lack of accountability, the absence of praise for her cooking, for instance, the fact that she was largely left alone as he indulged in working 16, 17-hour days, demonstrating an absence of emotional empathy and a sense of entitlement to do as he wished. Then the secret alleged relationship with Cabana, which again suggests sense of entitlement, a lack of accountability, an absence of emotional empathy, and the unusual arrangement that exists with regard to the Russian president and his supposed offspring. These interactions with both his first wife and the alleged second wife / girlfriend do not demonstrate somebody that is redolent of a healthy approach to interpersonal relationships. In part 6, we move on to analysing more of Vladimir Putin's mindset, particularly with regard to the notion of how he sees himself vis-à-vis the country over which he governs, and where that might lead him to, as we seek further answers and indicators to answer the question, what is Vladimir Putin? Please ensure that you like each of these videos, show your super thanks, and provide in the comments your own observations with regard to his behaviours and where your mind is going. Thank you for your continued involvement.